Hello, everybody, and welcome to AMA Lunchtime Learning Series. My name is Maria Asuelimen. I am going to be your presenter today. Just wanted to do a quick tech check. Please type yes in your chat box if you can hear me. Just want to make sure that everybody can hear me and see my screen. On my end, everything looks good, but I just want to make sure that you can hear me and see my screen. Please type yes in the questions or chat box if you can hear me and see my screen. I'll make sure that everybody can hear me. We're going to go ahead and get started here. All right. Okay. I see that everybody can hear. So you are all on mute right now. I love to make these sessions interactive. So if you have a question, raise your hand and I'll unmute you so that you can talk to the group. Um, we are going to be starting in exactly 1 minute, but just wanted to give some quick housekeeping rules before we get started. All right. Again, welcome to AMA Lunchtime Learning Series. My name is Maria Asuelimen. I'm going to be your presenter today. Today, we're going to be talking about starting your business on a shoestring. So if you are new to AMA LTLs, which is what we call our Lunchtime Learning Series, we started these webinar series on a variety of business and leadership topics to help you be successful in your role as a business owner or as a leader in an organization. I am the managing director of AMA Consulting. I am an organizational development coach, consultant, an executive coach by trade. AMA Consulting is a professional services company. We offer services to the federal government, so we are a federal contractor. I'll talk a little bit more about what we do, but just more about my background is I've worked in the organizational development space for 18 years, starting in industry, helping large organizations and federal agencies develop their leaders, and actually went to work for the government before I started my company in 2011. I used to do a lot of trainings with the small business development centers and the procurement technical centers here in the county, in Prince George's County, Maryland. So some of you may be joining because you found this webinar on the SBDC's calendar or PTAC's calendar or on the Chamber's calendar, but I'm very involved with the small business community here, so that's probably a touch contact for how you found out about us. So we welcome you to our community. So my company, AMA Consulting, as I mentioned, is a professional services company, and we do work in 3 primary areas. The first one is organizational development. So we do a lot of strategy work, so helping organizations or agencies within the federal government develop their strategic plans or strategic objectives, helping them with doing the analysis that comes with that, trend analysis, developing goals, developing objectives, stakeholder workshops, and meetings around a strategy project. We also do a ton of trainings under our organizational development service. So we do workforce trainings from soft skills to technical trainings like project management, acquisitions, grants, as well as leadership development training. We also do workforce, what we like to call workforce enhancement support. So that could be anything from people analytics to helping a workforce, an organization identify ways to optimize their workforce, putting in place retention strategies or recruitment strategies, especially for high specialty workforce like in the cybersecurity space or research space, because that's some of our clients are like the Food and Drug Administration, which is a regulatory organization, and their workforce is very highly specialized. Our second line of business is business program support. Federal agencies execute their mission through programs, and so we help everything from project management or program management to process improvement, process optimization. They're different terms, but essentially strengthening the processes of operations, performance of quality management, and doing some staff augmentation. We also do some IT support specifically in the assistive technology space, so helping agencies make sure that their systems, documents, websites are 508 compliance, 504 compliance, as well as in the cybersecurity space. Okay, so that's who we are as a company. As I mentioned, my career spans 18 years in working with large organizations, and then also specifically with the U.S. Small Business Administration, working with small businesses to help them develop and grow. So today we're going to be talking about starting your business on a shoestring. If you have a question, please raise your hand so that I can make sure that you get your questions answered. This is going to be interactive. There may be somebody else on the webinar that may have a resource, an idea, something that may be helpful to you. So don't be shy to jumping in and asking your question. So as I mentioned, I started my business in 2011, and we have gone from being a one-person company, from me just going around and offering training services, to now we're over almost 20 employees and over $1 million in revenue. And what I'm sharing with you today is not just the book knowledge of, me having the background of being an MBA, having an MBA and working in large organizations in federal government, but actual experience from running my own company. The first thing I will say is you really need to make sure that your business idea is viable. A lot of times you hear people say, turn your passion into profits, or you have to be passionate about something. That is true. But in order for you to be a business, and basically you're in business when you are exchanging something for compensation. So in order for you to be compensated, you have to make sure that that idea, that passion is actually a viable business. And what does that mean? It means, can you sell that? Can you get compensated for that? So you may have a passion and your passion is in its raw state, but you have to do like market research. You have to test the idea to see, how do I package that passion into something that actually serves a need that people actually have and are going to be willing to pay for. I think this is so critical, because a lot of times this is where folks get stuck, because you have a great idea, you're passionate about something, and in your mind, yes, it's great, but the question is, does it solve a problem that people have, and are people going to be willing to pay for it? And this is particularly true when you're selling a service. In this information age, people can get everything from the internet. There is a YouTube video almost for how to do anything. So if you're selling a service and you're telling people, I'm going to show you how to do this, I'm going to help you how to do that, you really, really have to do your research. So I'll put some resources here for research. Google, yes. Reference USA is a site that is tied to most public libraries. It's an online database of a wealth of information, from market information to demographic information to income information, different things that can help you really figure out your market niche, who your target customers are going to be, their behavior patterns, their buying patterns. There's a wealth of information that you can get for free, and then you can even go further with Reference USA and actually purchase lists from them to start off. So do your market research. Really, who else is doing what you're doing? Who is successfully doing what you're doing? Who are the key players in your market? Go to their website. Again, everything is online. Google is your friend. Do your market research and really test to make sure that your passion or your idea is a viable business. Again, using the description that I gave them. Number one, is it going to solve a problem that people actually have? Think about it. You have your budget. You have your plans for your income. And so you spend your income on things that benefit you or solve a problem for you, right? People these days have very few dispensable income that they're just going to spend on whatever. Even if they're buying a shoe, that shoe is solving a problem for them. It's covering their feet, it's making them walk, and it's adding to their style or their fashion. So it's solving a particular problem. The next thing is test your idea. Definitely, and I'll say more about testing your idea because I have some tools for you. Is really figure out what are people willing to pay for. People want everything for free. They want as much as they can get for free. But when they have a need and they know that it's a real need, and they know there's no way they can get it unless they pay for it, then they'll pay for it. So test your idea. You can do like a little focus group. You can do surveys, test and see. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is another really great tool for you to build your audience and do a beta test on your idea and see what it is, where is the threshold where people are willing to pay for. And if you're having like graduated services, so if you're doing a product, what additional features do I need to add to be able to charge more money? So that really helps. And you don't know yourself, you have to test it, you have to put it out there in the market. You may have to put it out there for free, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Number three, which is really, 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 really important, is create your plan. If I would say anything about successfully starting and growing a business, is preparation and planning is key to taking advantage of the right opportunity. Preparation and planning will put you in the midst of the right opportunity. So all of the first two items is preparation, doing your market research, understanding your market, understanding your competitors, understanding the pricing strategy for your market, understanding your product, the feature, really understanding what it is you're selling and your brand. This testing your ideas also part of preparation. It's not walking in blind into the market without having done any tests and thinking that you're going to accomplish something, and at the end of the day, it doesn't pan out that way. And then plan, 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 plan. Your plan doesn't have to be anything elaborate. So there are different templates for a business plan, but you don't have to just have like a one pager. Number one, what is your goal? Number two, what is your target audience? And number three, who are your competitors? What is your marketing plan? What is your your market entry strategy? What differentiates you from other businesses in your market? What are you going to be known for? What is your brand? Just put it on paper, just one sentence each. Answer those questions every day. Keep refining it. Again, you're not going to know everything when you first start, because sometimes the pace of your market, of your business, and what you do helps to shape and craft what your business is, which means you learn as you go. But at least have a starting point, have a blueprint. Create goals, no more than 3 short-term goals. Short-term, I'll say, is 12 months, and 3 long-term goals, so that you have a definitive direction that you're going with your business. Any questions so far? Any thoughts anybody wants to share before I move forward? I want to hear, what do you think about market research, about testing your idea, and about creating a plan? I know it's like, okay, well, I'm ready to get started on my business and start making money, but this preparation and planning is really what's going to make you ripe to take advantage of that opportunity. So any questions on that? Okay, so these webinars are really short. We only have 30 minutes, and I have some good information to share with you. Okay, so somebody has a question. I am going to unmute you now, Ebony, real quickly. All right, go ahead, Ebony, you're unmuted.
Hello.
Hi.
So I am starting business making authentic Belgian waffles, and I'm struggling to find like a target. Like I want to target parents and teenagers and college students, but I don't know how to find the numbers on Google. So I don't know what I'm supposed to type. Could you give me an idea?
So where are you located? I'm assuming that you want to do it within where you're located, correct?
Yes, I'm planning on selling on a farmer's market in Silver Spring, Maryland. It's near DC. It's near a metro
Okay.
station. So there's a lot of people coming. It would be on a Saturday.
Okay, that's great. So This is an excellent question. So I would say your market research is to survey that farmers market before you start selling your waffles. Just visit. I'm sure you already visit the farmers market. Know the vendors who are already there. Know what they're selling. Um, get like a good feel for who comes to the market. Walk around and talk to people. Find out their needs. Find out, what about your waffles will make them buy, right? Because they're Eggo waffles that they can grab. If they're very busy families, they're Eggo waffles that they can grab in bulk. So if they're coming to to buy your waffles, it may be for more of an experience, like you said, authentic, something original, or maybe bringing their family, bringing their kids to enjoy that experience. So you're gonna have to package it differently. But I would say for you, it may not necessarily be online because you're selling to a local community and in a specific place. So I would say research that farmers market and research even other farmers markets in the area and see if somebody is selling something like that or any like prepared food item and see what the draw is for people. Does that help?
Yeah, all right. How I was supposed to do this. I actually have to go, like, do I have to go often, or I guess I just have to figure it out myself?
Yes, you have to go. You have to go consistently, right? So if I must, sometimes farmers markets are open like over the weekend. There's nothing wrong with dedicating a month to going every weekend because what you would do is you get to meet people. You will get to profile the demographics of the people who come to the farmers market religiously. Because what you want to do is start with like regulars who would then be your ambassadors because then they're going to go tell people about the waffles and come back, right? So you definitely want to start with you want to do that. It will be worth your time, and you don't have to stay there the entire for a long period of time. You also want to form relationships with the vendors who come out there because they can give you information about how much traffic, how many people come there, what people are saying they're interested in, what the family size it is. It younger families? Is it old, is it older retirees? Is it young people just coming out to hang out and may want to grab a bite to eat? You can't know that from the internet. You because you're going to be in that region, you have to invest that time. I'll say take a month or two and attend every weekend, and you'll get a lot of information that will really help you prepare so that when you do start going out there, you're going to do really well.
All right, that's a good idea.
All right. All right. I have another question. Let me just see real quick. It's a Okay, so Ebony, somebody actually had a suggestion for you. He was saying, Travis was saying that you could also look into the Metro Riders. You could get business from the Metro Riders from Silver Spring. So that's also another potential opportunity for you to just see what's going on around the Metro. I don't know if there are rules about that if you have to have a food truck or something around the Metro, but that was also a suggestion from one of the attendees. Okay, thank you so much, Travis, for that suggestion. The next, I want to touch on some quick tips. Okay, again, this is not based on book knowledge. This is based on my experience. And just to give you an example, when I worked at SBA, the Small Business Administration, I manage a portfolio of 100 companies that were in a business development program. And although they were primarily federal contractors, but it's still the same principles of business. So I saw a lot of companies that came into the program and did very well, grew their companies to the tens of millions of dollars, and was still successful even after they left the program. And I also saw companies who came into the program and crashed. They got a huge opportunity, but because they weren't prepared, they didn't plan, they didn't have the infrastructure in place, they weren't financially ready to take advantage of those opportunities, and they will have problems with making payroll and keeping their staff, no organization, no management. So the principles are the same, whether you're a one-person company making $5,000 a year on your business, or you're a 100-person company making a $10 million a year. The basic principles are the same. So some quick tips: don't quit your job yet. Why? Because you need revenue. You need money to make money. You need to put money into the business to start up, not unless you are getting funding or you have a source of funding like maybe crowd funding, or you have family who's giving you your startup fees, or you're taking a loan, I'll tell you right now, the bank is not going to give you a loan until you can show 2 years of tax returns. So you have to be an operating business. And that's the challenge, is that to get that funding is very difficult because you have to have 2 years of operations and have 2 years of tax returns to even get a loan. So how are you going to get the 2 years of revenue? So you have to feed the business for yourself. So don't rush out because you have a great idea and you have done this plan and you've talked. I hear this all the time. People say, I've made my relationships and I have my networking places. Since I quit, so and so person said they're going to give me a contract or give me an opportunity. And pause on that, because people may not, you can't rely on what people are saying. You have to rely on your own plan. So somebody has a hand. Aaron, I'm going to let you speak. I'm trying to unmute you, but it says you're self-muted. Can you unmute yourself so that you can chime in? There you go.
I didn't have a question.
Okay, your hands were raised. All right. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead then. All right. So the next thing is know your business costs. And a lot of the things I'm going to say, you're going to do it as you go, right? So you can't really calculate your business costs until you've actually gone through a transaction. So Ebony, if you don't mind, I'm going to use you as an example, right? So you're going to sell waffles. Let's say you want to sell a batch of 50 waffles, right? Know how much that is going to cost versus how much you're going to sell. Understand your costs. And if first time you may actually do like what is it called? Like when you showcase. As a matter of fact, there was an interesting story. The Prince George's Economic Development Corporation, they did an event at one time, and a lady who was a caterer, she catered really small hors d'oeuvres for free for that event. And the executives of Shoppers Food Warehouse attended the event, and as a result of that, she got a contract with Shoppers. So she provided the hors d'oeuvres for free. I can't remember what she had, a specialty. I think it was desserts, like I had specialty desserts, and she provided it for this event for the chamber for free, and ended up getting a contract out of it. So if you're doing something like that, let's say you're offering your waffles to, let's say a nonprofit is doing something, you say, hey, I'm going to bring my waffles to you for free. Understand what that costs. Even though you're giving it to them for free, it costs you something. That way, you know how to price so that you're making a profit. That's very important. Your time is a cost. Your intellectual, your IP your intellectual property is a cost. So you have to understand all the costs that go into your business. The third thing is use time management techniques as an entrepreneur, especially if you're holding down a full-time job at the same time. You really have to manage your time. Spend less time on social media. I was just listening to a podcast today that a lady that I follow, Caroline Leaf. She's a really great a speaker. She was sharing that from Monday through Friday, she's not on social media because she is spending her time thinking and planning towards her goals. Manage your time properly, because it makes a huge difference in terms of your output. The time you put in it is going to show in your business growth and your output. I have a sound personal financial plan. This is really important because it's going to cost you something, right? To really grow a business, it's going to cost you something. So that means personally in your finances, you're going to give up a lot of things. So I'll use myself as an example. I quit my good government job and I started my business 8 years ago. The first 3 years of my business, my personal budget was so slim. I stopped going to get my hair done. I started doing my hair myself. I stopped doing a lot of things like, I would like we didn't take like really expensive vacations as a family because I was investing into the business. So have a sound personal financial plan. And also, when you start your business, if a bank is going to give you a loan or a line of credit, they're going to base it on your own personal credit at first, until your business has enough financial history to be able to acquire a loan or something like that. It's going to be based on your own personal credit. So you having a personal financial plan is going to really help feed your business growth and success. Leverage free and low cost resources. Learn as much as you can about your industry. Apart from going online to search, go out to events, go out, network with people, find out what people are doing. and feed what feeds your business. That's a big principle. Because your business will only, just think about it, when you put a crop in the ground, um, that crop can grow and thrive if they have water, if they have oxygen, if there are no weeds around them, or it can die if it's not being watered, if it doesn't have sunlight, if it doesn't have, if it has weeds around it, the weeds are going to eat it. That's your business. So you have to feed it, you have to nurture it, right? So when you start to make money, invest back into the business, add another feature, add something else that makes you better, that reduces your costs so that you can increase your profit margin. So for example, if you were using subcontractors to execute on your projects because you couldn't afford to pay somebody, when your business starts to grow, go out on a limb and hire somebody. That will be a lot more responsibility because you have to meet payroll, but that will drive your costs down instead of just working through subcontractors. So feed what's feeding your business. Any questions about the tips? I just want to make sure that there are no questions. Anyone has a suggestion? Anyone wants to share about their particular industry or their business that they're looking into? Okay, so now I put this on here because how do you make that first sale? Again, starting your business on a shoestring, that means you're starting with nothing, basically. That's what we're discussing today. How do you go from 0 to 1? How do you start? How do you go from 0 to 1? I talked about using free events to build your network. Write this down. Your network is going to be equal to your net worth. I'm telling you, I know it for a fact because I've lived it in my business. The people you know are the ones who are going to drive you to your next opportunity. Where you are positioned is directly linked to your next opportunity. So build your network, connect with people, start where you are, in your local church, in your community, on the PTA, in your neighborhood, where you hang out, at the farmers market. Start to develop relationships with people. You never know who knows who. Eventbrite is a good place. Again, you have to be wise with going to events because some events are just for show, and some events cost money, so you don't want to make an investment if it's not going to be related to helping your business grow. One thing I always say is look for events in your industry. There are a lot of industry associations. If you're looking to sell in the community, look for community events, local fairs, to attend and build the networks. Build the networks with people who put those events together, because then you can be a vendor. So build that network. Number 2, donate your expertise and products to ambassadors. So this was a key success factor for me. As I mentioned, I used to teach classes for SBDCs and PTAC. So the Small Business Development Centers, they never paid me for all of the trainings that I did for them. So I would drive out to Frederick. So we are located in Atlanta, Maryland, which is in Prince George's County, Maryland. And I would drive all the way out to Frederick. We're talking about 60 miles, over an hour drive. I would go to College Park and teach classes. They weren't paying me, but the folks who attended those classes were small businesses who were looking to get into the federal government, and that was my expertise, helping them get into the federal government. So I would teach the classes for free, and that put my name out there. And I would demonstrate my knowledge about the industry, demonstrate that I can meet their needs, be able to articulate their needs, and then I would get clients from there. But if I never made the investment to go out there and teach those classes for free, I would have never made those relationships. And then those people who became my clients who go tell people about me. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call for somebody who attended one of my classes in Frederick, and she had somebody who reached out to her saying, we're looking for a woman-owned company that is an 8A firm, which we are, for a government agency that's looking to do a particular work. And she reached out to me. That was as a result of a class that I taught over 2 years ago. So donate your expertise to products to ambassadors that will then speak for you and put your name more into. That's one of the quickest way to make that first sale. I'm telling you, Just sitting and trying to sell things online. Yes, people may buy, but really building, letting people know who you are and demonstrating, showing what you have to offer for free brings that hook. Learn as much as you can about your industry. In this day and age, there, because of the internet and because of so many things, information is everywhere. Everybody's an expert, but people can tell, can differentiate people from differentiate from people who really know their stuff and really good at what they do, and people who are selling fluff. You want to have depth. So learn as much as you can about your industry. Understand where things are priced. Understand the key players. Understand the capability that you need to build to be a player in that industry. Use free social media and email tools. So social media is really good for marketing, getting the word out there. Email tools for building your email list, keeping people abreast, maybe doing a newsletter. That email newsletter is also very helpful in making a sale. Another story. One of our very first large contracts, and when I say large, I'm talking about $1 million a year contract, came from an email blast that I do regularly to people in my contact list. I was looking for trainers for some courses. Somebody responded. He wanted to be a trainer, and he also had contacts with the federal agency. Invited me for a meeting. 3 months later, they had a need, and that was $1 million contract. So these things actually work. It works. But the thing about it is, when you do an email blast and you send them to your website has to have detail, compelling detail, and also past performance that will make you get that sale. Okay, track sales to see what's working. Know what's working in your industry. Track and see what gets you traction. So, for example, because we're a federal contractor, we sell to the largest customer in the world. They're not going to buy a service from me off of just you know, looking me up on the internet. They have to verify that we are a real thriving company and we can perform the work. So it's more of a longer runway in terms of the relationship building, brand building, experience, and depth than just buying something online. Okay, leverage free apps for increasing your productivity. So as you make that sale, people are going to start referring you. Then it becomes a matter of operation. So you want to be able to manage your time properly. You want to be able to manage your project properly. So start to leverage apps for meetings, for your schedule, to increase your productivity until you have the resources to start hiring people to help you with that. So I was kind of racing through the last few points there because it is 12:30 and we have come to the end of the presentation. If you have a burning question you really want to ask, I'm willing to stay on to answer that question. So if you have a question, please let me know. Questions, raise your hand so I can unmute you. This is our information. You can go to our website to learn more about AMA Consulting, www.ama-consult.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We do the AMA LTLs twice a month. We also have a leadership conference. Roxanne, I'm going to unmute you in a second, but we have a leadership conference called the Magnificent Leadership Conference that holds on November 7th. We do it every fall, and it's for business leaders to come in, gain the strategies to develop your business skills, connect with magnificent leaders in the community. We have people from federal agencies coming. We have the county involved, the Economic Development Corporation, the chamber, SBDCs. We're hoping to get more corporate sponsors this year, like Comcast come in. So it's going to be a really great event this year. Okay, Roxanne, I'll let you answer your question. Oh, say yourself muted. Unmute yourself so that you can ask your question. Okay, there you go.
Hi, hello everyone. My question is, I know you're talking a lot about it, about not quitting your job and just making sure you build your business up. But if your business is in real estate investing, it's a little bit different than like trying to, I guess, build your business the way you did.
Mm-hmm.
So what suggestions you have? Because with real estate, the income it fluctuates heavily. So you can make really good point, and then you cannot make money for maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 months.
Yeah. So your question is if when you're starting your business and there's this influx between when there's no revenue coming, how do you manage that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that is an excellent question. I would say that even with other businesses, like even with my business, the way I built mine, starting out, as I mentioned, I was helping firms prepare to do government contracts or helping them with certifications. So there were times where I wouldn't have any revenue come in because I didn't sign on a new client, or I hadn't got paid for work that I was doing. So that's where that point that I talked about, really managing your personal finances, comes into play. Because when you work a job, you get your paycheck every 2 weeks and you can plan on that. But when you're running your business, there's a huge uncertainty. There is no guarantee that you're going to make X amount of revenue until you really start to grow and you have like repeat customers and you have some more steady long-term contracts. Then you have revenue that you can plan on. So it really boils down to, number one, I would say first managing your personal finances so that when money does come in, you have some time where you can spread it out too, and then you're not stressed out about that. And then number two is, even though you're doing, like with your example, you're doing real estate investing, you have to have like different layers of it. What do I mean by that? Okay, so you may be doing real estate investing and you're flipping. That's like the big money, right? Those are the larger projects. But you may want to add another layer to that if you're a licensed real estate agent and just do leases. So work with people who have properties and leases. So that's quicker money, it's more frequent, and it's more money that may fill in for those times where you're waiting for your deal to go through and you're waiting for a property to sell. You may also create other revenue streams around real estate, maybe develop content where you can go teach people classes or do something, that can bring more, it'll be smaller revenue, but it'll be more frequent. So that's what I would definitely say. So using my business again as an example, when I started, the trainings were the onesie twosies, not a lot of money, not a lot of margin, but it was frequent enough to keep me afloat. And these larger contracts, like the $1 million contract that I talked about, those come maybe once a year. So you have to have that hybrid of services and figure out how you can have like how you can create a service offering to make money come in while you're waiting for that big project, that big real estate investment. You have to buy the property, fix it up, and then sell. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it make perfect sense.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so we are now at 12:36. Thank you guys so much for joining today's webinar. Please stay in touch with us. If you have any questions, send me an email, info@ama-consult.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and have a fabulous holiday weekend.